This is Greg Martellotto with Big Hammer Wines. Happy to be here today. Hope you guys are enjoying some wine as I am here in St. Helena. I'm in the Napa Valley, Northern California. I want to talk to you a little bit about some distinctions between Napa and Sonoma and some of the insights I picked up. Share with you some of the insider tips. Many people often ask about where to go in Napa versus Sonoma. And I want to just give you some general ideas about insights on benefits of one region versus the other. Napa Valley is only 30 miles north to south, 5 miles east to west. It's pretty small, but compacted and loaded with so much great wine. It's vineyards everywhere. On the hills surrounding us, in the valley, it's also wine that I think, as a result of the cost of grapes and the cost of doing business, has become quite expensive. It's quite hard now to find high quality wine under $75. You can find a handful of Napa cabs in the under $50 price point. And when you do, you should probably snap them up, especially if we got scored a deal for you. What I'm finding is, and what I'm hearing and learning, is the average price of grapes now is well over $7,500 a ton. Some of the quality vineyards are $10,000 to $15,000 a ton. And some of the marquee brand names, Tocolan, the Beckstoffer vineyards, $20,000 or more for a ton. And when you think you only get about 65 cases per ton of grapes, you can imagine it's pretty hard to bring a wine to market for less than $50 to $75 a bottle. So one of the things about Napa Valley is driving up and down Highway 29 and Silverado Trail, which are the two main streets that run north-south. You're going to see all these big names, big chateaus. We don't call them chateaus here; we call them wineries. But wineries with big money behind them. You see these amazing art collections. You see these amazing architecture, houses, mansions, castles. It's really stunning, and I highly recommend you come visit. However, just know that many of the wineries are now charging 40, 50, or more dollars for tasting 4 or 5 wines. Many of the estates are now doing experiences. They're offering private tastings, small groups, maybe 4, 6, 8 people. They even have private chefs. They do tasting menus to pair their wines. Very great experiences. Some of these experiences are now running $75 to $150 or more. I like that experience. It's very intimate. It's a great way to get to know a winery and the products. Just know that it comes with a fee. Many of the Napa cabs now are going for 150 plus, and I think there's some sticker shock around that, which makes me, as a winemaker of Cabernet and Bordeaux blends, Happy Canyon, Santa Barbara, feel very good about the quality of the wines I'm making and the value that we're delivering. I know a lot of people are starting to look upfield a little bit elsewhere outside of Napa for value. One of those places is right on the other side of the Mayacamas Range in Sonoma. Sonoma has always been much more of an owner-operator, sort of a distinction that they find in Burgundy and Bordeaux. Burgundy has much more farmers, owners farming small plots of land, making small amounts of wine. They're hands-on. Napa, much more, let's say, big business, corporate, a bit of the nouveau riche combined with the old rich estates. Sonoma, I feel, has great diversity and nuance in the breadth of grapes and wines they offer. If you think about the far west Sonoma and Occidental area of Sonoma County, which is quite a large county, I'm also reminded how similar Sonoma is to Santa Barbara County, where Martellotto Winery is located. Because on the far west you have this cool climate covered in the Pacific fog, perfect for Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, very similar to Santa Rita Hills. On the far east side of Sonoma County, you go up the mountains, you get quite warm days, quite hot, as it is right now. I'm sweating under the sun. And you'll find Bordeaux blends, Cabernet. And such good wines are coming out of Moon Mountain now, and these areas in Sonoma. Many of them are besting some of the wines in town. I would argue this is also mountain fruit, better value. So some of the wines that I'm finding in Sonoma retailing from $40 to $120, those same wines with a Napa appellation are going for $80 to $300. So if you're a value buyer, which almost everyone is, continue to look to Sonoma, including for Bordeaux blends. The other thing about Sonoma is up north, Dry Creek area, you're going to find some Rhone varietals. Of course, you got the great old vine Zins. Starting to see some real elegance in some of the Zins. We had a chance to visit Recree Winery. And that's a winemaker who described his Zinfandel as with a Pinot Noir touch. And he really did it. He picked it a little earlier. It was only, I think, about 14% alcohol, maybe a little less. And really pretty, elegant, not heavily oaked, not sweet at all, bone dry. And man, it was so refreshing. Some of those Zinfandels are just bruisers. When you see some of those old vine guys going up to 16, 16.5, essentially port wine classification starts at 17%. I feel like that takes away the beauty of an old vine, and it just masks it with too much makeup, oak and fruit and sweetness. And so handling Zin in this way that the winemaker at Recree is doing, I think, is a great testament to restraint. Other things that you'll find when you come to Napa Valley versus Sonoma. Napa, of course, has more hotels, more of the bed and breakfast. The Meadowood Resort has the great fine restaurants in Yountville and the cute little towns in Calistoga and St. Helena. And even Napa now has a lively little downtown. So I think it's easy and accessible. But for more of the intimacy and the diversity, I think Sonoma is also quite interesting. One of the conversations I had with a tasting room manager revolved around she felt that Napa was the top of the funnel. It's the Cabernet that brings people to the region and North Coast because that's what's widely marketed, that's what's widely recognized and known, and a grape that people are familiar with, and brands that are well distributed. But at some point, I think we all start recognizing we don't eat steak every day, and we might not want to be drinking big brews or expensive cabs every day. And we start finding some distinction and nuance on the other side of the hill in Sonoma. Some of these other varietals, and then the Pinot Noir. The Pinot Noir is such an amazing grape. So many of these small producers, winemakers who made a name for themselves at other wineries, got high scores, got recognized, started their own little brand of, say, 2,500 cases or less. And they only sell those wines at their tasting rooms on the Sonoma Plaza in the area. And these are great wineries to visit. And I'm finding that several of them are doing Pinot Noir with vineyard-specific wines. And you can see that they're handling the fruit in a very similar way with similar barrel regimen, oak and bottling. And yet you see the distinction and nuances in each of those Pinot Noirs. And the conversation we had was around how people kind of graduate from maybe the Cabernet profile to something that's a little more diverse and distinct. And I hope you can have that experience. I hope you can make it up here to taste some of these wines and visit some of these small producers that aren't widely distributed, because it will really be insightful and educational for you to learn about wine and in your own journey, the wonderful world of flavors that keeps us all passionate and keeps us coming back here for more. So I'm off to do more tasting today to bring you guys more great wines in the fourth quarter. And cheers. Keep on drinking some wine.